Hey y'all, welcome to the Literary Apothecary. My name is Kate and I'm here to talk about all the books that I've read, what I'm currently reading, and what I'll be reading next in this weekly reading update. This video is coming out a little bit later than normal. I've had a different week than normal and I didn't get this filmed when I usually do, but this is going to go up today. I'm determined. So let's jump right into it. I don't have a whole lot to update on, but I do have a few things that I've finished since the last time I talked to y'all. So first is an essay, After Henry by Joan Didion. This was the original title essay in her collection, After Henry. I read this, of course, in our collection, We Tell Ourselves Stories in Order to Survive. And this essay examines grief while reminiscing on Didion's former editor and friend, Henry Collins, and it's a really interesting way to look at grief. A lot of Joan Didion's, especially her personal essays, deal with grief in all different kinds of ways, and I love how she comes at grief in all these different angles, and in this one, that's what she's doing here. Next up, we have an unfortunate DNF. I decided to go ahead and DNF Sky Full of Elephants by Sabo Campbell. Now, a lot of people, tons of people really loved this book and it really resonated with them. And I'm so glad because this feels like one of those books that is so important for people to read, but it just didn't sit with me. I just could not get engaged with the text here or the characters. So I am so glad to see that so many other people have really enjoyed this book. Winds of Strife was the third book that I have finished this week. This is by Yuri Gutman, book 1 in the Dawnless Night series. Now, a couple years ago, this book was hitting all of the booktube channels, and I just didn't get around to it when everyone else is reading it. I read it, and I thought that first of all, this felt to me more like an experience than anything while reading this book. It was so unique, and I loved all of the world building and the unique magic system that is based off of emotions, and the prologue was amazing. It pulled me in right away. I need more prologues like Winds of Strife prologue. Now let's talk about my current reads. So currently I am working on Rocks, My Life in and Out of Aerosmith by Joe Perry. This is my audiobook that I'm listening to this week. I talked about it last week and how Joe Perry is not a great narrator at all. His reading is very monotone. It very much feels like he's just reading the words off the page instead of actually narrating it and giving it emotion. But the material in it is very interesting, and something different is happening to me in this memoir experience than what happens in a lot of other memoirs that I read, especially through audiobook with the narrators being the authors themselves, is that I'm really not liking Joe Perry here. He is not portraying himself in a great light. It is part of the rock star mentality that he describes here, but everything just does not feel good in this book. But I'm still really enjoying the content and learning about all of these different facets of his life, which is why I've been continuing. I still have a few more hours left on the audiobook, so I might not finish this weekend, but I'll definitely be finished by the next time I talk to y'all. I am also in the middle of, just started Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. I'm only in the very beginning of this because I only just started this past weekend, but y'all, it feels good to be back here in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. After my experience with Farseer trilogy, I didn't know if I was gonna ever feel that way with Robin Hobb because I had such a weird experience with those books that most people do not have. But with the Live Ship Traders, I am truly enjoying my time here. I'm also making my way through The Unwilling by Kelly Braffett. I think I'm about halfway through that book, and this one has really intriguing storytelling, and I'm enjoying following along in this story. The last book that I am currently reading is Loyalty to the Max by Maya Darjani. This is book 2 in the, Broken Union series. I think that's the name of the series. I'm reading the arc for this, although this book was just released this past week on the 28th. So if you read Ancient as the Stars and you loved it, you'll definitely want to get this. This takes place, if I remember correctly, about a year after Ancient of the Stars closes up. And we're in, if you can't tell by the title, we're in essentially the point of view of Max. He's our main character, although we have different points of views. But just like in Ancient as the Stars, we have different points of views, but we have a main character. Max is our main character here. And I'm really enjoying being back here also. The last thing that I'm reading, I'm trying to get through some of these Joan Didion essays and make further progress in We Tell Ourselves Stories in Order to Live. So I'm in the middle of the essay In the Realm of the Fisher King by Joan Didion, of course. This was in her original collection after Henry, and after this one I might have to switch up and focus more on Dresden, because I just saw that Jim Butcher has a new book coming out maybe December or January, and I really want to be caught up on the series before that new book comes out. So I might have to switch my focus here and focus more on the Dresden short stories to catch up in that series and then circle back to Joan Didion. But I am enjoying getting caught up on Joan Didion as well. And that brings me to what I'm going to be reading next. Now, there are some question marks here because I don't have everything exactly planned out right now. And in about a week, I'm going to be leaving for a conference for a week. So my reading is definitely going to slow down then. My next read on audio will probably be Name of the Wind. That's the next audiobook up in my Audible collection. This is by Patrick Rothfuss. I will probably make this into an immersion read, which may mean that once I go to my conference in Texas, I might switch to a different audiobook. We'll see how I feel about this narrator and this story and whether I can make it on just audio or not. I do also have 2 other audiobooks going for immersion reads with Mad Ship and The Unwilling. So if I feel like I need a different audiobook, I could switch to them also and see if I can do those just on audio. I feel like at least with Robin Hobb, I want to have the book with me, but I have done just audio with her books before, so that might be a good bet there. My next physical read is actually the question mark that I was talking about, because I told John that he could pick out my next physical read. And so he told me once I get closer to that time coming up, because he knows how slow some of this reading goes, then he'll make his decision. So until I know John's decision, I'll let you all know what the next physical read will be. The next ebook read will be Only a Grave Will Do by James Lloyd Doolin. This is the arc for the final book, the third and final book in the Malatu series. I can't wait to see how he wraps up this trilogy, and my heart is both ready and not ready for all of the emotional pain that this is going to happen. But I'm so excited for this last book, because book 2, I absolutely ate up. I loved that book so much. So that is my reading adventures for this past week. What I've read, what I'm currently reading, what I'm looking forward to reading next. Let me know in the comments below, what were your favorite reading moments from this past week, and what are you looking forward to reading the most in this next week? As always, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back.